business organization. Our mission is straightforward. It's to create the conditions where employers want to invest and can invest. Where people can find great jobs and our communities can thrive. Municipal leadership is central to that mission. The questions we hear this evening were all solicited by the membership of the Stratford Chamber of Commerce, as the mayor directly influences issues the business and nonprofit community cares about. So you're going to hear questions around small business vitality, workforce development, education, infrastructure, transportation, housing, permitting, and the vibrant commercial corridors of the town of Stratford and quality of life. Tonight is about ideas, not necessarily endorsements. We're here to listen, to learn, and to leave better informed. With that, I ask that everyone here this evening to remain respectful of our candidates. Let's be a good example to the students at Fairfield High that we are here to learn this evening. Hold your applause, and please do not interrupt the candidates. This way we can get through as many of the questions as possible. And finally, please do silence your phones or turn them off. Again, thank you for being here and for modeling the civic engagement that keeps our economy strong. With that, I'd like to introduce our moderator, who's no stranger to the town of Stratford, Mr. Bob David, who was born and raised in Milford, Connecticut. He is a graduate of Northeastern University and has an MBA with the University of New Haven and a master's certificate from Cornell University in diversity, equity, and inclusion. Bob is a former two-term councilman. He has served on the ordinance, WPCA, pension, Booth Park, and building needs committee. Bob is a former elected member of the Board of Education and served as vice chair. He served on the finance board for 19 years, and Bob currently is on the executive board of directors for Sikorsky Financial Credit Union. He is the current chairman of the board of the Stratford Chamber of Commerce after serving as board and executive board member for 25 years. Bob is also the current chairman of the Roosevelt Forest Commission. A former constable, he serves as Justice of the Peace. He has served and chaired numerous commissions and currently is chairman of the Business Education and Support Team, which works with the Chamber of Commerce here in Stratford to support the Stratford Public School System. He is the current chairman of the Stratford Education Foundation and a Stratford Rotarian for over 20 years. He is also a Paul Harris Fellowship recipient. Bob has over 25 years of data infrastructure experience and work in sales and sales management at Crown Castle. He has been awarded his company's prestigious President's Club Award for the past 18 years. Bob has resided in Stratford just shy of 30 years with his wife Lynn and 3 children, Tucker, Ethan, and Cooper. Please welcome Bob David to the podium.
Thank you so much for that warm introduction. So we flipped a coin to see who goes first, with Mayor Hoydick and with Dr. Chess. The first bio I'm going to read is from Dr. Chess. Dr. David Chess is a physician, entrepreneur, and community leader with lifelong commitment to innovation and service. A graduate of Creighton University School of Medicine, where he was elected Alpha Omega Alpha Honor Society. Dr. Chess completed his residency at Albert Einstein College of Medicine and served as chief resident in internal medicine at Yale Bridgeport Hospital. In 1996, he founded Primed, a Northeast-based multi-specialty medical practice, and went on to establish and lead several national healthcare companies. He is currently the founder and chairman of the board of Tapestry Health, a Stratford-based company employing more than 400 people and pioneering next-generation healthcare delivery models. Beyond medicine, Dr. Chess has deep roots in Stratford civic and small business communities. He co-owns Open Door Tea on Paradise Green and has served as the Stratford Inland Wetlands Commissioner since 2017. He also founded Stratford Ford, a 501c3 nonprofit organization dedicated to strengthening the Stratford community through initiatives such as the Stratford Crier, the town's only dedicated online newspaper, and the Stratford Volunteer Corps, a platform connecting volunteers to local schools and nonprofits. Married for 41 years to his wife, Barbara Weber Chess, David is a proud father of 5 children who live in Stratford and West Haven. Known for his ability to translate vision into action, Dr. Chess continues to build innovative, mission-driven organizations that serve both people and community. I'll let everyone applaud Dr. David Chess. Our second candidate is Mayor Laura Hoydick. Mayor Laura Hoydick has spent most of her life living, working, and volunteering in the town of Stratford. Laura is married to Paul Hoydick and the mother of 3 daughters, Brooke, Jillian, and Paige, and 2 grandchildren. Laura has over 20 years of experience as a commercial property manager and has served as the executive director of the Stratford Chamber of Commerce. In this role, Laura acted as a liaison to local and state government on behalf of the Stratford business community. In 2010, Laura was elected to the State House of Representatives to represent the 120th district. She was promoted to serve as Deputy Republican Leader in 2015 and served in the House through January of 2018 as she was elected the 3rd Mayor of Stratford in 2017. She was re-elected to a 2nd term of Mayor of Stratford in November of 2021. As Mayor, Laura and collaborating town councils ended the previous cycle of local mill rate increases by putting forward 7 budgets without any tax increases. Laura has focused on advancing important projects such as transit-oriented development, road and infrastructure improvements, the development of the Stratford Army Engine Plant location, and the Raymark site remediation. Laura is well known in Stratford for her dedication to the Stratford schools. Prior to her election in the state legislature, she has served as an elected member of the Board of Education for 7 years, 4 of them as chairwoman. Laura's volunteer contributions to the town are numerous. She has been especially dedicated to Sterling House Community Center, the Greater Bridgeport AmeriCorps National Service Program, the Stratford Partnership for Youth and Families, the Perry House Foundation, Our Lady of Grace Church, the Stratford Planning Commission, and the Stratford Visiting Nurse Association, the VNA. Laura's dedication to community has been recognized with several awards, and she has served in several leadership roles at the Greater Bridgeport Valley Municipal Planning Organization, the Metropolitan Council of Governments, MetroCog, and was a board member of Sustainable Connecticut and the Connecticut Green Bank. She currently serves as the president of the Connecticut Conference of Municipalities, CCM, the state's largest nonpartisan organization of municipal leaders representing towns and cities of all sizes, advocating for local taxpayers at the state level. She holds a business administration degree from Sacred Heart University, where she is a member of the National Honor Society, Alpha Sigma Lambda. Please give a warm welcome to Mayor Laura. First and foremost, it's an honor and privilege to ask these candidates questions in this forum. I would like to personally thank Dr. Chess and Mayor Hoydick for agreeing, and as I am asking the questions. The candidates received the questions earlier this week. Here are the ground rules. Each candidate will be given a 2-minute opening remark and a 2-minute closing remark. Again, that was decided by coin flip. There will be no breaks, and we'll go around 90 minutes. There will be a 180-second response, 3 minutes, from each candidate to each question. A 1-minute clarification from each candidate per question. All questions will be asked in the predetermined order given to each candidate. There will be no questions from the floor. The candidate must not interrupt the other candidate. This is not fair. The audience must remain silent. No question will be asked from the floor again, and the candidates will not answer any questions from the floor. I'm asking all of you to hold applause to the end of the debate. We are in a school setting. I will ask myself, the candidates, and the audience to be professional. Mayor Hoydick and Dr. Chess want to share their ideas on what Stratford is today and what it can be in the future. I implore all of you to listen with respect on their ideas, whether you agree or disagree. If you feel that you cannot adhere to these rules for whatever reason, I would just ask you to leave now so the candidates can speak at this forum. American representative democracy is a 250-year experiment that I wholeheartedly support. I give my word to both of these candidates. I will be fair. I'd like to say thank you to the Stratford Board of Education, the administration and custodian staff here at Stratford High School, Stratford Public Works, the Stratford Police Department for being here and for hosting and providing resources for this evening. The timekeepers for our political science students from Fairfield University, thank you for being here. I'd also like to thank Phil Connor, Dan Nafio, Kaya Norco, and Joe Scouser from the Bridgeport Regional Business Council for all their work today. I'd like to thank members of the Stratford Chamber of Commerce and the membership for helping devise tonight's questions that we put together over Columbus Day weekend. Without further ado, let's start the forum this evening. First, the opening remarks from the 2 minutes, Dr. Chess.
Good afternoon, Stratford. Thank you very much, Bob. Thank you, Chamber of Commerce, and I truly thank the people of Stratford. Are you all able to hear me okay? Yep. I am delighted and excited and just grateful to be able to be up here and to become the next mayor of Stratford. I didn't come to this opportunity from a point of view of needing a job, looking for another career. I've had a wonderful career as a physician. I built many healthcare companies over the last years, national companies here in town, Climate. But what I found was that over the years, our town has gone from a place where people would come to first. I moved in here 40 years ago. People wouldn't go to Milford, they wouldn't go to Shelton, they came to Stratford. And over the last 40 years, and really over the last 10, 20 years, there's been a tremendous divergence. Companies, families, people looking for homes, they pass over Stratford, and they go to Milford, they go to Shelton. And that shouldn't be. Stratford is an amazing place. It is a beautiful place. I love Stratford. That's why I'm up here. So, I'm about building, about taking care of people, about building community. I'm running for office because I know I can build Stratford.
Chess, time. Thank you. You're away.
Thank you, Bob, for the recovery. Thank you to the Bridgeport Regional Business Council, the Stratford Chamber of Commerce for hosting this event tonight. I'm honored to be here. I'm honored to be your mayor. And one of the students asked me, what do you like most about being mayor? It's the ability to help people and get things done. And that has happened not only in the Board of Education or the Planning Commission or as a state rep, but as mayor. And I really love making this town better. We have a remarkable town. It's full of history and talent, it's strong in spirit. I call us scrappy often. We are working together, we are working with balance, and we are progressing with preservation, opportunity, and responsibility with ambition and dedication and discipline. The balance to what I brought to office every single day keeps us together as a collaborative community. And my vision for Stratford is rooted in resiliency, financial, and keeping our community stable and affordable and civil. So I thank you for this opportunity to be before you today.
Thank you, Mayor Hoydick. We're going to go to the first question, again, as decided by coin flip, to Dr. Chess. Dr. Chess, can you outline your vision for the town's economic future and include the top development opportunities you foresee in Stratford? This is 3 minutes.
So my background is both as a physician, taking care of people, and as an entrepreneur, building businesses. And I have to tell you, as a business person, someone who starts businesses from scratch, you know what it's like to start a business, to be a small business, to be responsible for payroll. I have a company right now that has over 400 employees. We almost have a budget the size of this town. So I understand the needs of the economic community. And I know how far behind we've come. I'm up here because our town financially is failing. And so my drive to run for mayor is about building a strong economy that can support our communities. And there are some facts that people need to know. Of course, we talk about balance and resiliency. The fact is that our grand list, the number of taxpayers, the amount of money we depend on, has actually gone down in the last year by $1 million. We only grow our economy by 1 to 2% in a world of inflation of 3 to 4%. So what does that mean? That means that we have amongst the highest tax communities in Connecticut. And if we want to maintain our taxes, then we have to cut services. And that's what we've been doing over the last 8 years. Over the last 8 years, our schools have gone from being top-rated schools to being in the lowest 20 percentile. And again, these are facts. And our reading, our math literacy in 2024, only 29% of our kids met the standard, compared to Trumbull at 72%, Shelton at about 50-55%, Milford at about 50-55%. And it's not that we don't have great teachers. We do. We have incredible teachers. I know them. I work with them. We have really good leadership now. But we've gone through 4 different superintendents or acting superintendents in the last 8 years. There's no stability. So my vision is to shore up our economics, to develop the jewels we have, the Army Engine Plan, Shakespeare, Paradise Green, and then support our community, grow our community, and help our schools get back where they were.
Thank you, Dr. Chess. If I could just, before Mayor Hoydick answers, if everyone could please turn off their cell phones. I've heard a couple, so thank you. Go ahead, Mayor Hoydick, 3 minutes.
Thank you for the question. So, a few facts. Since taking office, the grand list growth has been $4.59 billion in 2018 to $5.36 billion in 2024. We've had 3 superintendents in the last 8 years, and our vision for this community is growing strong. It's one of prosperity, diversity, and quality of life. We continue to work towards balanced growth, expanding our housing, businesses, and job opportunities while preserving our small town character. We have historic charm. We have coastal identity. The town's economic future depends on fostering affordable housing developments, not 8-30G necessarily, but housing that is affordable, revitalizing properties that can be used for residents, completing the remediation of brownfield sites, promoting mixed use and transit-oriented projects that connect residents to work, recreation, and culture. With resilient infrastructure and fostering strong partnerships among government, local, state, and federal, business, and the community, my vision is to continue to grow Stratford responsibly, strengthen our economy, and enhance our quality of life and ensure opportunity for all those who live and work here. By planning strategically and working collaboratively, we can ensure Stratford continues to thrive for decades to come. But this is is not just my vision. These thoughts are incorporated in the Plan of Conservation and Development from 2023 to 2033 and are the wishes and the visions of the residents and the businesses of Stratford who've worked collaboratively with the Planning Commission and the Town Council to produce this plan. Growing the grand list, increasing revenue opportunities, and reducing the burden on taxpayers has been a priority for me. Financial resiliency to keep our communities stable and affordable, environmental resiliency to protect our coastline and open spaces, and community resiliency to ensure Stratford remains in a place where families, seniors, and businesses can thrive together. I propose 7 budgets with no tax increases to stabilize the expense on residents and business to pay to operate this town. Planning is a crucial specialty with state and federal entities who are involved with either funding, partnership, or general coordination. It is critical that we root on these balancing progress with preservation, opportunity, and responsibility. The waterfront and coastal resiliency and development includes the former Army Engine Plant, the former Shakespeare Theater, and newly added is the lighthouse property and the grounds, and the point and the adjacent. Continued remediation of brownfield development, transit-oriented development, and senior housing and affordable housing are also critical to this venture of expanding Stratford.
Thank you, Mayor Hoydick. Question 2. Dr. Chess, what about the, I'm sorry, you go back and forth. I'm sorry. Mayor Hoydick, what about the development and support of Stratford Army Engine Plant? Oh, I'm sorry, 1 minute rebuttal. I'm sorry. Thank you, Dr. Chess. 1 minute.
The mayor highlights many important phrases. She highlights plans that have been developed. Those plans are 50,000 feet. When it comes to ground level of things being done, they're not. And in terms of our grand list, from 2023 to 2024, which was the last available data, we went down $1 million. So yes, over a period of time, it's gone up. It's gone up at half the rate of our adjacent communities. So you have to look at what's going on. Milford has raced ahead. Shelton has raced ahead. Trumbo's raced ahead. We have fallen behind. In Connecticut, we become the afterthought. It used to be when I moved in here, people would come here. Milford was the afterthought. Now we're the afterthought. And we need
Thank you, Dr. Chess. Thank you. 1 minute. Mayor Hoydick.
Your opinion, your anecdotes. I don't know how you keep taxes flat if your grand list doesn't grow. I don't know how you keep services operating if your grand list doesn't grow and your taxes are flat. So it's just a little bit of math that you might want to do. The projects that we have going on that I'm most excited about, besides the Army Engine Plant, which is significant for us, is the John Benjamin House on the Shakespeare property. Those plans are developed. They will be out to bid shortly. The restoration of the Sterling Homestead, which is another historic property that we are taking care of. We have been doing some great infrastructure projects throughout town. We've been working on the Raymark site for decades and the redevelopment of Ferry Boulevard and Stratford Avenue, and you can see the progress. Just look around. The proof is in the pudding. Just look around.
Thank you, Mayor Hoydick. Mayor Hoydick, you get the next question. What about the development and support of the Stratford Army Engine Plant? What's your vision for this redevelopment, and what would you support the developers building in this vital piece of land?
It's really exciting to see what's happening at the Stratford Army Engine Plant. For so long, we've looked at buildings that have been pretty static, nothing seems to be happening, and now buildings are demolished, backhoes are cleaning up, you can see the ground is being raised to FEMA level, and Point Stratford Renewal and Tech and Clean Earth in partnership with the U.S. Army and Connecticut Deep are really making significant progress on this redevelopment project. The Army Engine Plant is privately held by PSR, but in collaboration with the town, state, and federal agencies, it's essential that we redevelop and align with Stratford's broader economic goals. By supporting PSR, the town can help facilitate the transformation of this underutilized property that creates jobs, expands the local tax base, and ultimately brings property into the tax rolls for the first time in history. The Stratford Army Engine Plant is one of the most significant development opportunities in the region, both economically and strategically. While the town does not own the property, we remain an active participant in ongoing discussions with the property owner. Mary Dean and I talk to them every week. And we talk to our state and federal partners every week. This is a long-term goal and a real opportunity for Stratford. Several manufacturing companies have expressed strong interest in the site, and recently, which is very encouraging. My hope is that PSR will ultimately select a manufacturing anchor tenant, one that brings good-paying jobs, long-term stability, and complements Stratford's history and innovation in skilled labor. I had the honor to do the celebration of life for Sergei Sikorsky yesterday, and when you see the magnitude that Sikorsky aircraft has brought to this region and to our town, it is awe-inspiring, and I'm hoping the same thing can happen at the Army Engine Plant. In addition to manufacturing, I would support a balanced redevelopment plan that considers supporting uses such as light industrial, clean energy, research and development, and limited commercial components that strengthen the local economy without overwhelming our infrastructure. This property has the potential to be a cornerstone for Stratford's next chapter of economic growth, and I'm committed to working collaboratively with all the partners to develop the way and to see the benefits for our residents and our tax base, which reinforces Stratford's role in the hub of innovation and industry in Connecticut. The people of Stratford have never had full access to the waterfront at the Army Engine Plant. The development will include a linear park along the waterway that will provide the public the ability to walk, picnic, and play on the causeway, the historic causeway dike, which measures about 90 feet and extends into the Housatonic River. The area from Sniffin's Lane will connect to the Greenway and will have a pedestrian and bicycles access along the Housatonic River that will connect to the Birdseye Boat Ramp.
Thank you, Mayor Hoydick. Dr. Chess, 3 minutes.
So I can't agree with the mayor more. The Army Engine Plant is key to our future. Imagine, imagine 76 acres of waterfront in Fairfield, Connecticut. That's $1 billion property. It's incredible, the opportunity. Well, I have also met with the owners, and you can go online and verify what I'm saying. They are planning to put up 3 warehouses, 1.1 million square foot of warehouse. That's what's planned at this point. And what they tell me is that they need the cooperation of our town to do more. The Army is investing and has invested up to $130 million cleaning up the bay, the land, and bringing it up to commercial use. But commercial use is not enough to truly appreciate the value of that space. Another $20, $30 million could bring it up to residential. With residential, these developers, and they're the same developers that did Stanford's shoreline, want to build a marina, they want a boardwalk, hotel, restaurants, housing, a park. We could have skating rink there like we used to have in Lordship. We could have climbing walls. We could make it a destination. It could become a real hub and have a tremendous impact on our taxes. And that is the only way we're going to get to lower our taxes, is by expanding our economic base. So we talk about collaboration, and everything requires collaboration, but it also requires energy. It requires a vision. If you don't see it, you can't build it, you can't do it. When people tell you no, you can. If you don't have the energy and the vision and the passion to move beyond it and get things done, they don't have it. And we end up being mediocre. We end up always settling. Well, I'm not here to settle. I'm here to make this work. I know that we have tremendous potential, that we have 76 acres of land on the waterfront, and that we can do better.
Thank you, Dr. Chess. 1 minute rebuttal, Mayor Hoydick.
Thank you, Bob. The ads that you see online from CBRA, which is a real estate brokerage firm, are pictures to pique your interest. They're not saying this is going here. It's a marketing tool. It's a marketing tool so someone who has a big manufacturing plant or wants to relocate to Stratford, Connecticut can see and have a vision for what could happen. Mary and I have talked to Sikorsky Aircraft about coming down and relocating all of their out-of-town facilities into Stratford. There is great opportunity here. We've also talked to Connecticut Deep about having a marina. And guess what? Connecticut Deep said no, we can't. We'd love it. The developer would love it. But at this point, unless the governor tells them to change their minds, it's not going to happen.
Thank you, Mayor Hoydick. 1 minute, Dr. Chess.
When people say no, and you can't do it, that's when you have to have your passion and purpose and push through and get it done. And we can get it done. We can become residential. We can really be very proud of that Point Stratford. It will truly be a destination. And yeah, and that's what I think.
Thank you, Dr. Chess. And this question is to Dr. Chess. Excluding the Stratford Army Engine Plant, which we just discussed, what are your top 3 priorities for the town of Stratford, and how do you plan to achieve them? 3 minutes.
I apologize for my voice, it's giving out on me. So, there are many opportunities that we have ahead of us. One of the biggest ones is around affordable housing. We need to have an affordable housing, so everyone understands, is not public housing. It's more affordable in that people who are starting out their career can afford it. It's housing for our firemen starting out, for our school teachers, for people working in town hall. The average cost of an apartment here in Stratford is about $2,000. This would bring you down to maybe $1,500. So it's still quite expensive. $1,500 or $2,000 means that you have to have a job making $80,000 a year. So affordable housing is important, but how you do it is critical. Currently, we don't have currently in our town, if you're a developer, you come in with an idea and you whisper the words affordable housing, 830G, you've got rights of development that it is difficult to stop the development. So we end up with apartment buildings in areas that are residential, private homes. That is not what we want as a community, and that is not good for our economic development. We need to have detailed land use maps that are live, not on paper, but that will respond to daily when there's a new parcel that becomes available. We need to then work. The other part of my vision is that in each district we create councils, and those councils look at this map and say, this is what we want here. So we're not driving development from the top down, we're driving from the bottom up. That we have active councils in every district that says this is the type of development we want. And then we go to the developers and say, this is what we accept here. And for the developers, they would love that, because now they don't have to fight for 3 years to get something through. So that's a key element of development. Our small businesses are critical in our town. We need to be supporting them more. We need to have...
Thank you, Dr. Chess. 3 minutes. Mayor Hoydick.
Smart growth and redevelopment. We've spent a good amount of 8 years and before working with Connecticut Brownfields from the Department of Economic and Community Development. We've utilized those funds for the contract plating site, which is in the development for High Axiom, which is a fuel cell project that is being put there. Redevelopment of the Raymark ball field, which is going to have a ribbon cutting within a couple weeks or so. Look at what can happen if you really work on contaminated properties, you focus, and you have the ability to put it out to the market, to sell or to lease, and to create tax revenue and jobs. The expanding of housing options at the El Grasso Regional Center is something we've been working on for a long time too, and the conveyance happened. And the conveyance just happened last week, and the Housing Authority is looking to put over 100 units of affordable senior housing there. Success Village and Guide to Development into a Balanced Growth is another way that we can make Stratford small town revitalized and working together. Increasing our fiscal stability, we're proposing stable budget to continue to pay down long-term pension debt, improve our bond rating, and appropriately fund operations and create more of a fund balance. It's not really sexy, I know, but it's very responsible and critical to municipal governments. Fiscal stability and public service is maintaining balanced budgets, of which I've been able to maintain and manage 7 out of 8 budgets with taxes that are flat or reduced. And ensuring consistent funding for public safety, education, many of the town services, including community services, the health department, and public works. We plan to renovate Middle High School. They're very, very jealous of this building. And I don't blame them. It's a beautiful building. But this like-new building will have new windows. It will have a new auditorium. They're vying for something better than here. I don't blame them. But that project is on its way through the building committee and through the Board of Ed also. Our infrastructure and environmental resilience, continued improvements to roads, schools, town-owned properties and buildings, in general the parks. We carry through our investments in flood control, our stormwater system, and our shoreline protection. We continue our environmental cleanup on projects like the Raymark Superfund site, and those properties, those Raymark properties, are now going to be put to productive reuse, increase the tax base, and increase job growth.
Thank you, Mayor Hoydick. 1 minute rebuttal, Dr. Chess.
Again, as a private business builder, the concept that it takes us 8 years to get approval for 100 senior units is incredible. And I know it could have been done quicker. I know we could have much more than that. That's not how we need to build. 100 senior units per 8 years doesn't get us very far. We need to do much better building senior housing, building affordable housing, getting our local communities involved to help build it. The mayor speaks about how she maintained the budget for this period of time. Well, it's maintained by taking away services, by taking away from our schools, our roads. We talk about road development.
Thank you, Dr. Chess. Thank you, Dr. Chess. 1 minute rebuttal, Mayor Hoydick.
We're not reducing services. You would know if we reduce services. I would know because you'd be yelling at me for reducing services. We've enhanced services. We are doing things as quickly as we can. There was a thing called COVID. We mentioned it before. Sometimes dealing with state agencies is not always easy. I think you've probably seen what's been happening in the news and the court systems. from the Department of Administrative Services. Well, that's the department we were dealing with to get the El Grasso conveyance. So we did it, we've got it, we have a partnership with the Housing Authority, it's approved by the council. It's a really great opportunity for us, and I'm looking forward to having those housing units develop.
Thank you, Mayor Hoydick. And the next question goes to Mayor Hoydick first. Related to key commercial areas like Paradise Green, Stratford Center, Bridgeport Boulevard, etc., what are other redevelopment priorities for these corridors, and how will they encourage smart growth while preserving Stratford's rich cultural history and character? 3 minutes, Mayor Hoydick.
This is an exciting topic to talk about. I am really happy to say that we're commencing with Complete Streets Phase 2, which continues the streetscaping that we see from Harvey Place through Stratford Center to Barnum Avenue, and this will go through Paradise Green to Windsor Avenue. Enhancements to sidewalks, crosswalks, roadways to include safety upgrades, pedestrian crossings, enhancements to the roadway structures with the intent of slowing speeding traffic and to make the area safer for pedestrians and the multimodal drivers. These projects will provide easier and safer access from the green to the perimeter, and the project is nearing the end of its design. The Paradise Green Business District has pedestrian improvements also planned. The town has submitted a LOTSIP grant, and with the assistance of MetroCog, to upgrade the sidewalks in front of the business of Paradise Green. And we will install a Paradise Green clock that has been missing for a long time in the sitting area and provide handicap parking off the street by Paradise Green Place. In Stratford Center, we've been in discussions with Connecticut DOT and the Time 1 project regarding the train station improvements with their intentions to modify the rail bridge height to increase the train speed traveling from New Haven to New York City. Part of the project would elongate the platforms and extend the canopies to protect riders from the weather. In addition, we are one of 18 communities included in the study to enhance the train station that might include housing, retail, and other services used by commuters and the public. In the Center School redevelopment project, underground parking will be available for the Board of Education and public use. The Civic Planning project is underway with the cohesive walkable plaza near Sterling Community Center, Sterling Homestead, the library, Baldwin Center, and the building that was formerly Christie's. Formerly Princeton. Stratford Avenue and Ferry Boulevard, the town has submitted the Town Avenue Corridor Plan to Connecticut DOT and its Regional Active Transportation Plan through MetroCog in April of 2025. The town walked the corridor with MetroCog and DOT and discussed the safety concerns and potential improvements. Inclusion in the corridor is a plan for the town to apply for state funding for the project, implementation with support from the state. The roundabout project is designed from Honey Spot Road and Stratford Avenue and South Avenue, and that funding is through MetroCog. And then last but not least is Ferry Boulevard. We spent all this money redeveloping and working on Raymark projects. While the new apartments that have been approved in the area are completed and others in development, the EPA cleanup of Raymark and various properties in addition to the Ferry Creek restoration, the town is currently working to develop the Greenway design plans for Ferry Boulevard after securing a design-build grant through Connecticut DOT. The infrastructure upgrade will ensure enhancements and safety in the
Mayor
corridor.
Hoydick. 3 minutes, Dr. Chess.
Paradise Green is an exciting potential. Our complete streets have been becoming complete for about 20 years now. And this is really the fundamental for me, is that we do things half-assed. We do things a little bit. We end up underfunding, underdoing. So we have complete streets, and what do? We basically paint the street. And it is actually less safe than it was before. I have a vision for Paradise Green. That vision is to make it more like a Milford Green, where we have a real green, we have a place where people come on a regular basis, we've got stores on both sides, and we extended it out as far as we can. We built within it a tree-lined bike path that's safe. Our bike paths are not safe at all. We built within it strolling lanes, so people will come. We use that bike lane to connect our town, all the way down to town, to the center, and then eventually all the way down to Shore Beach, and to build it safely. The issue for us is always funding. We never have enough money. And so we currently are working on a grant with $3 million. When you're working on complete streets for as long as we have been, to have $3 million to work with it just doesn't make sense. During that time, we could have had a dozen other grants. We could do so much more. In Torrington, they got a state grant and they're redoing their whole downtown. We can do something similar here. We need to revitalize our town. We do it by envisioning it and then going out and getting the funding for it. One of the other areas really neglected in our town is a honey spot. And honey spot in the south end, when you go there, the diner's closed. It's a beaten up street. We need to be investing and working with local community to reimagine honey spot, to get a bank down there, to get some grocery down there, to bring back a diner, to bring back stores. We need to serve our local community. The South End Community Center, which was neglected for many years. Finally, they went to repair it.
Thank you, Dr. Chess. 1 minute rebuttal, Mayor Hoydick.
$3 million is a lot of paint. It'll do a lot of complete streets, and we're very, very well funded. We're also well funded for the Paradise Green Clock restoration. Working together, sometimes it's not as fast as you want, but working together with state, local, and federal governments, I mean, you get the opportunity of working and having grants, and sometimes an expertise better than your own. And it's pretty amazing when you capitalize on people who know more than you do, and you make your projects better. We're so rich in history, and our Main Street corridor has a lot of Stratford history from 1629 all the way to current day. And we should capitalize it. And those are the things that we're doing with the Civic Plaza, with the Sterling Homestead, with the former Christie Funeral Home, and working and saving Perry House, which is a personal project of mine. But I'm pretty proud of where we are.
Thank you, Mayor Hoydick. 1 minute rebuttal, Dr. Chess.
I can only say that it's all a matter of your reach. If you don't reach for the moon, you don't get the moon. If you don't reach to do better, you don't get to do better. And we need to have reach. All I see when I go out to Stop and Shop is a self-storage unit. All I see when I'm driving down the street are warehouses. That to me is not reach. And that to me is not effective use of prime space. That to me is losing prime space to people who don't. The tax that you get from a self-storage or a warehouse is microscopic compared to what you get from a building, from commercial, from manufacturing. We need to do better. We have to stop giving away our property.
Thank you, Dr. Chess. Next question. And the question is going to go to Dr. Chess first. Many businesses throughout Connecticut, particularly small family-owned and service-based, face rising costs and regulatory challenges. What actions and opportunities will you take to make Stratford more competitive within the region for new business investment and perhaps more importantly, retention?
Stratford, when you speak to business owners, when you speak to developers, they will all tell you Stratford is a business-unfriendly town. And that needs to change. We need to be seen as a town that wants to encourage business, that wants to make it easy for businesses to come. That doesn't mean to lower your regulatory requirements necessarily. It means to make your regulations smart and meaningful. And it means to streamline. One of the things that would help that considerably, again, are our district councils that then vision what they want for their communities, and we build to those specs. Right now, a developer comes in, it can take them years before anything happens because of the friction in the system. It also means better regulations. So I'm on the wetlands committee, and we had 99 Holly Lane, which wanted to put up, which is putting up 130-unit apartment building next to a very important wetland, critical to our clean water in this town. And we denied it. And it's a good developer, really good developer, tried to meet all of our standards, met all the requirements. But the issue is that the development is at 95 foot high. That's about 9 stories high, broken down from our wetlands. And so when the water comes down, the protective devices they have in place can fail. And we were worried about our system. So we need to fix our regs. We need to make sure our regs are as good as possible. So that's not, so it's being business friendly, establishing the rules of engagement. That's a key element to making our town a place where businesses want to come. We have to fix the regulatory environment. I'd love to, one of my dreams here in Stratford is to create a business incubator where we make it easy for young businesses to start out, where we create business grants for them, where we have all the functionality they need to make it easy to start. For our established small businesses, we need to have an ongoing marketing campaign for them. We need to have people dedicated to marketing them, getting the word out, talking about our great restaurants, talking about our great stores, highlighting them, and then interrelating them.
Thank you, Dr. Chess. Mayor Hoydick, 3 minutes.
Well, I guess we're going to disagree that businesses hate being in Stratford. We have a lot of businesses that really like being here. There's not that much vacancy. Warehouses or large buildings produce tax revenue. What's inside them produces more tax revenue. So just keep that in mind. The cost of utilities, though, is a major issue for new and existing businesses. The Economic Development Director and I have worked to bring state agencies and commissioners to the table with us and business owners to talk with exchange about operating barriers and solutions to eliminate some of these issues. The system's benefit charge, which plagued businesses and residents as an additional expense on electricity bills, is one of the major issues facing businesses. The sale of the Aquarium Water Company to the Regional Water Company is another potential expense, as rates are predicted to increase more than 30% if the sale goes through. And the 30% increase is to cover the debt service of the purchase by the RWA. I joined the region's CEOs to oppose this sale and the proposed governance structure because it's not good for residents, it's not good for businesses, and we need water to survive. We work very closely with our businesses to assist in areas such as transportation, federal and state, local regulations, and to help them navigate barriers in their businesses, not created locally, but that they decline from their productivity. I've supported project labor agreements, which are a pre-hire collective bargaining agreement between unions and contractors that govern labor conditions for specific construction projects. I personally take great pride in frequenting businesses, asking them how they're doing, promoting them on social media during events like Small Business Saturday, Restaurant Week. And last year, working with the Chamber of Commerce, we developed a Small Business Month of November, actively marketing Stratford small businesses to residents.
Thank you, Mayor Hoydick. 1 minute rebuttal, Dr. Chess.
So the point of supporting our small businesses are not events, not one-time events, not having a restaurant week or a business monthly. It's having dedicated staff to market our riches here, to market the people who have invested in our community and who are coming out for us. We have stores here that are struggling. We have enormous turnover of stores. I don't know where the mayor lives, but not in my section of town. We have enormous turnover, and we need to be actively marketing and working with them. We need to interrelate the different stores so they're helping each other, they're marketing each other where it's not competitive. We need to be telling the story of these different restaurants, the owners, how they got there, the jewels that they have. So,
Thank you, Dr. Chess. Thank you. 1 minute rebuttal, Mayor Hoydick.
Thank you. Thank you. Well, I don't know if that's a promotion, but so when I was a commercial property manager and had a lot of involvement with retail tenants and professional tenants, the owners of the property said, if we wanted to be in business with you, we would be in business with you. So the partnerships that are created or ownerships of businesses are on the owner. We're there to help, we're there to assist, we'll help you with connecting with DOT with a traffic light. If you can't get your trucks out of the road, we can help you with utility costs, and we can put you in the right connection so you can talk to somebody about it. But it's not our place to run your business. We're going to support you, we will help you, we will help market you through events that apparently aren't that good, but I don't know, they seem to like it. They seem to like when we do Small Business Saturday and Restaurant Week.
Thank you, Mayor Hoydick. Mayor Hoydick, and Dr. Chess, but Mayor gets the question first. On a local level, permitting businesses looking to move here and expand in an existing facility is a constant issue we hear about. Some building and planning and zoning departments are easier to work with than others, and our total permitting process is much longer than in other states. Would either candidate have a solution or implement policies to make it easier for a business to locate or expand in Stratford? 3 minutes, Mayor Hoydick.
Thank you. So Stratford has made real progress in improving our permitting process. We've moved our permitting system online, which made it easier to continue to operate during COVID. And it's more transparent for businesses to see where they are in the queue and in the workflow. The modernization was an important first step in making Stratford more business friendly. And our building permit revenue has been more than we budgeted for year over year over year. That said, the zoning approvals can take time, especially if you are a predatory developer or not following the rules. But you have a need for neighborhood input and communication and for the commission to review, and these are vital in maintaining the community balance and transparency. So moving forward, I would continue to build out our online permitting system, explore ways to consolidate reviews where appropriate, and look for opportunities to standardize timelines and feedback. These are steps that can help Stratford become even more competitive in attracting new investment while preserving the thoughtful planning that keeps our community strong.
Thank you, Mayor Hoydick. 3 minutes, Dr. Chess.
the permitting within the town is something that we need to simplify. One of the concepts that I've been thinking about and playing with is having a concierge. Is to have people dedicated to making it easy to work through the different steps. Each of our offices have their own rules and regs. Having an entity that connects these pieces and makes it simpler. There are towns that actually have time set where you can have the fire marshal, the people in the building permitting. You can have folks together to make it easy, to make it easier. Again, when there are more complicated zoning issues, we obviously have our zoning boards, and that is a separate piece than this. But there are ways of creating a concierge service to make it simple to get. You have to have an attitude. If the attitude is that they're here to serve us versus we're here to serve them, we need our entire town services to have an attitude that we are open for business. I'm sorry for this fragmented thinking. This is not my core strength, obviously. And when you become mayor, you need to have a team around you that helps you and guides the development. But it's the concept. It's the understanding that our job is to serve, not to be served. You go into many of our offices, and it's not that way. And so if we're going to make it easier, if we're going to make it simpler, you've got to change the attitude. And that's what I would work on within our town hall. So to me, that's the fundamental message. And making our zoning regs streamlined, having concierges to help people get what they need, and having an attitude at town hall that says, we're going to help you, we're going to make this happen.
Thank you, Dr. Chess. Mayor Hoydick, 1 minute rebuttal.
I hope I can do this in a minute. So we do have this service. We contact the Economic Development Department, and Mary and her staff put together a pre-planning process where all of those departments are around the table. And they're listening to your project and telling you exactly how to navigate through the system and helping you. We just did the high accident fuel cell project. I can't tell you how many times we were around the table with them to help them navigate that project. It's important to them, it's important to resiliency, it's important to energy in the town of Stratford, well, to the grid, and it's all important to us for taxes. This is how we operate. It's exactly the way we are, very business friendly, very open. Let's get the job done.
Thank you, Mayor Hoydick. Dr. Chess, 1 minute rebuttal.
I wish that was what our businesses told us. It's just not. You know, people tell you what they want to hear, and so the mayor hears really wonderful things. It is not what happens in our community.
Thank you, Dr. Chess. Dr. Chess, next question you start with. Many employers struggle to find employees who can afford to live close to where they work. According to the CBIA's 2025 survey of Connecticut businesses, businesses rank housing as the third highest priority for the next General Assembly behind tax and regulatory reform. What's your view on the current housing mix in Stratford, and what steps would you take to encourage a balance of housing options that support our local workforce and families? 3 minutes.
Housing is essential to our community, and affordable housing is essential to our community. The average one-family bedroom here in Stratford is $2,000 to rent. If you're going to afford $2,000, and typically 30% of our wages go towards rent, then you've got to be making about $80,000 a year. Starting jobs are not $80,000 a year. And so if we want our children to be able to come back to Stratford to live, to start, to build their roots, then we need to have affordable housing. If we want our seniors to have places, we need affordable housing. So we've touched on this before, but affordable housing is critical to the well-being of our community. It's how we do it. We want to do it maintaining the nature of our town. We don't want to put up 150 units in a one-family zone, in a 1 acre zone with single-family homes. That is not maintaining our neighborhoods, our community. So again, the idea is that in each district, we create councils, and those councils work with the town with detailed maps. And when a developer comes in and has an idea or wants to develop, or we know a parcel becomes available, then we work with that council and with the neighbors, and we come up with an alternative plan, a plan that is going to meet with the nature of that community. And in that way, we don't end up with one large building. We may have 6, 7 smaller developments, but they know then they're part of the community, and we're building the housing that we need. So that's how we need to do affordable housing, and it needs to be done, and it needs to be a proactive process. It is not a plan at a 50,000 foot level. What I tell you, the mayor will say we have a plan for that level. We can have lots of paper, but we don't have on the ground proactive planning, and that's what we need to have in Stratford.
Thank you, Dr. Chess. 3 minutes, Mayor Hoydick.
Stratford offers more affordable housing in the market compared to many other Fairfield County communities, making Stratford very attractive for first-time homebuyers, young families, and members of the local workforce. Again, I mentioned El Grasso before, but that property is being developed into senior housing. And Stratford is ideally positioned with easy access of regional jobs through 3 major transportation corridors, Route 8, Mirror Parkway, and I-95. This is in addition to Metro North and the GBT bus routes. I'll tell you a quick story about a developer who developed a housing complex on Ferry Boulevard. He worked with the local hospitals who were looking for housing for their nurses and their techs, and they all ended up renting space from this developer. He built it for him because he knew there was a need, and then he had instant tenants. It was a perfect partnership. But we have to maintain a healthy balance of housing options. Single-family homes, townhouses, apartments, condos, and senior living communities. The balance ensures people at different stages of their lives and varying income levels can live and work here. Smart, well-planned development near transit districts adds opportunities without distorting neighborhoods. And looking ahead, I've always supported responsible development that preserves neighborhood character. We have a developer that came to us and he wants to put affordable housing in a TOD area. Works for us, just so long as it's not too dense and doesn't compensate the area with too much traffic, etc. We'll continue to work with these developers and state housing agencies and the Stratford Housing Authority and community organizations that want to expand housing responsibly. The goal is to keep Stratford accessible to our workforce, to our families, and to our seniors.
Thank you, Mayor Hoydick. 1 minute rebuttal, Dr. Chess.
Workforce housing is essential. Balance is essential. But there needs to be honesty. We can make things sound very nice, but over by Central School, the community met at least 3 times with the mayor. We created our own plans of what we wanted to see at that site. It is TOD, that's for sure, but it's also right across the street from our historic district. And we didn't want another apartment building there. We came forward with a plan to have 70 units in a courtyard, to have a beer garden, to have a bakery, to even consider having an art colony, because the arts are really important. And it was not even considered. So the reality is that regardless of what
Thank you, Dr.
the
Chess.
wants,
Thank you, Dr. Chess. Thank you. 1 minute rebuttal, Mayor Hoydick.
The proposal was considered. It just wasn't feasible. It couldn't pencil out. 70 units were not going to make enough money for a developer to build it. So that's the issue that happened at Center School. And so we have 104 units going up on Stratford Avenue in a beautiful development that's appropriate for the area with the colonial style architecture. This proposal at Center School is designed in the same way. It is a commercial, it backs up to a commercial area. It may have housing across the street, but on the other side, it's downtown Stratford.
Thank you, Mayor Hoydick. Mayor Hoydick, with the next question. 3 minutes on this one. How would you address the going concerns about affordable housing? Additionally, do you believe we have a homeless issue in town? And how do you plan on addressing this in the next 12 months?
So reducing the stigma and clarifying misconception in Connecticut that affordable housing is defined by a percentage of income to be spent on housing costs does not refer to the type of resident or the design of the development. But some of these affordable housing developments are designed to complement the neighborhoods they are in. For example, the one I just mentioned, the Villages on Stratford Avenue, is a very nice design with colonial architecture. 1111 Stratford Avenue also complements those row houses designs on Stratford Avenue. At the same time, we need to continue to protect the community from predatory developers who seek to exploit the 830G statutes, which override and establish to expand in excess the affordable housing and not to override the local planning efforts or distort the neighborhood's aesthetic makeup. The proposal of dense housing units in single-family neighborhoods are the type of developments that I oppose. The social services team at Baldwin Center, switching to the unhoused, and Birdseye provide significant support for unhoused population we have identified in Stratford. Homelessness is not only a Stratford issue, and there is a collaboration that's happening in the town, regionally, at the state level to identify needs, points of collaboration, and other resources. I was fortunate to attend the celebration of the body of work of Paul Skip Kermay, who devoted 25 years to those less fortunate to find transitional housing that would eventually lead to permanent housing placements. The town utilizes regional and state support for its unhoused population, and while acknowledging the practice of meeting people where they're at, we help to extend that help, and it's accepted and acknowledged, and sometimes our help is not sought out and not accepted. But we remain available and ready to help, and working together, we continue the work of Paul Kermay, Catholic Charities, Emerge, to establish temporary and permanent housing options for those who have fallen on hard times. A good friend of mine, Jocelyn Alt, is working together to put a coalition together for housing, and then we will be meeting and we will be hearing what everybody has to say and take steps forward. But she was also at the celebration honoring Paul Kermay and realized that there's more than one way to skin the cat, and I'm looking forward to working on this together.
Thank you, Mayor Hoydick. Dr. Chess, 3 minutes.
Homelessness is one of those hidden diseases that we have that are not really readily apparent, but if you look in the corners, you find it. Homelessness is a real issue here in town. I know doing work at the high school that there were kids living out of cars who didn't have a place to stay. It's a real thing. And if you think about that, 40% of people in the United States are one paycheck away from losing their home. So with that kind of margin, it doesn't take a lot to push someone over to their carburetor brakes, their carburetor anymore, the transmission brakes. And next thing you know, they can't make their bill and they're out on the street. So there's something called diversion. And diversion is really prevention. It's identifying high at-risk individuals. And I know about this because my daughter, Sarah, worked at the Coalition to End Homelessness here in Connecticut, and now trains and teaches communities how to do diversion nationally. And the concept is very simple, that when you have someone that is at risk, there's a pool of dollars that you can provide to help them over that hurdle. So you can get that transmission fixed, or you can get that month rent payment. And that saves the system a tremendous amount of money. It's like $1 up front saves $10. And having that resource is critical. The work of Paul Kermay and Bethlehem House, I was there at the beginning with him. I was there cleaning the rooms with him, setting it up, getting money. So I applaud the work. It's really important. And it houses 9 families, which is terrific. but there's a lot more here to do. And it's not just throwing money. We're a community. Jocelyn Holt is a gem. She is terrific. And she's a volunteer. And as a community, coming together around these type of efforts can make an enormous difference. We can manage homelessness here, but we need to get data, we need to have real numbers, we need to know what we're working with. And the other thing is that we often think about homelessness and mental illness. We think about drugs. Most people who are homeless do not have a drug problem. They're not mentally impaired.
Thank you, Dr. Chess. 1 minute rebuttal, Mayor Hoydick.
It's not really a rebuttal on this.
Well,
So, but I am proud, but we can improve of what we do currently now with our health department, social services, our senior services, our wraparound services with our social workers, the police department. They're usually first out with their social worker. It's not an easy situation, and it's heartbreaking at times. Working with the school district and the Kenny-Bento Act allows us to, makes us take care of transportation for kids, students that aren't were in our district but aren't living in our district anymore. There are things we can do. We just need to work closely together, and just to expand what we're currently doing.
Thank you, Mayor Hoydick. 1 minute, we'll call your response. Thank you.
So we had a great program at our school system called the Alpha Program. We had it for 30 years. It was for kids that didn't fit in to the usual constructs of the school. Some of them had behavior problems, some of them had social issues. Many of them were coming from families that had homelessness, that they actually had to work during times, that they were living out of cars with their family. We eliminated that program after 30 years. That program had a graduation rate of 90%. One of the ways we balanced our budget that year was to eliminate the Alpha program. So when we hear about our budget, our taxes staying the same, and that, oh no, we don't remove services. Services are removed all the time. They're trying to remove.
Thank you, Dr. Chess. Thank you, Dr. Chess. Dr. Chess, you have the next question. What would you consider to be the priority issue for improving quality of life, and how would you like to address these issues to make Stratford a desirable place to live, work, and visit? Specifically, can you name a few initiatives you would support to make this happen in the next 4 years?
So, I have knocked on over 4,000 doors. I have met and talked with thousands of people now. And so what I hear at the doors most of all, bar none, is our taxes are too high. So quality of life also depends on being able to afford it. And I can't tell you the number of people who tell me that they're looking to move because of our taxes. So again, I'm pivoting here, but one of the most important things we need to do is to expand our economic base significantly so that we can lower our taxes. And that will improve our quality of life significantly. We need to support our schools. We need to work with our administration to allow them to innovate. We need to having 29% of our kids meet the standard in math. I think it was 32% met it in language arts. Is not sufficient, and that is quality of life. We have to turn that around. We had an excellent school system here. 7 years ago, we got rid of our magnet schools. To guess what? What are we doing? To balance our budget. It was a budget item. And the mayor will tell you, it's not me, it's the Board of Ed. Well, the Board of Ed is given a certain number of dollars. And with a Board of Ed that's led by Republicans, not only it's already worked out between the Board of Ed and the mayor what they're going to accept in terms of a budget. And then the Board of Ed has to work with what they have. And so they cut what they need to cut to get through the day. But in the process, our schools have gone from being up here to down here. And that's on the backs of our children. And that's not smart work. We have to expand our economic base. We need to fix our schools. You know, my background is taking care of people. And my background is building businesses, making money. And that's why I know that I am your man for this job. I know that we can do a lot better here. And we need to support our children. And that is, you know, I think when you talk to people about why they come here and stay here, it's because it's a beautiful place. And why do they want to leave? Because our taxes are high.
Thank you, Dr. Chess. Thank you, Dr. Chess.
Are poor.
Thank you.
So let's talk about the quality of life and improving the quality of life, because that was the question. So if we want to balance growth and public safety, sustainability, all of this makes our town special. And over the next 4 years, my priorities are to focus on smart development, safety, infrastructure, and community vitality. So under smart growth and economic development, we have to continue the redevelopment projects. We have to work with the private sector to support their efforts in developing sites, like the Art Management, like Raymar, like contract labor. We need to continue to streamline permitting and attracting clean, high-quality businesses to expand our tax base without overburdening our residents. Our commitment to repairing and replacing and maintaining roads and sidewalks, our stormwater system, moves us forward in constantly evolving goals. A good friend of mine said, you know, it's economic development 101. Build your infrastructure, have it solid, then they will come. We need to continue the already awesome project at the Raymar cleanup, pursue green investment in infrastructure projects to protect and provide coastal, flood, and overall environmental resiliency. We need to partner with our schools and nonprofits to expand mental health, youth engagement, and addiction preventions and programs. Continue to work with the partnerships and agencies such as Sterling Community Center, the Stratford YMCA, Stratford Rotary, Stratford South End Community Center. I was on a call with Domus, which is a big agency down, a youth agency down in Stanford, and they couldn't believe for all the decades how we have worked together collaboratively and what we have built, and as far as an infrastructure and a safety net and improving lives of kids and families. We need to keep our budgets balanced by protecting education and essential services. We need to improve efficiency through shared services and technology upgrades in town operations. And we need to expand our parks. If not expanding our parks, improving our parks, trails and waterfront access for residents and visitors. Support the arts, local events, small business districts to strengthen Stratford's sense of place and economic vitality.
Thank you, Mayor Hoydick. 1 minute response, Dr. Chess.
So core to my plan is developing these district councils. So rather than having top-down plans, we need to have our involvement of our local communities in dreaming and thinking and imagining what they want for their communities, and then helping them build it. And in that process, creating more community, getting people out working together. One of the items I've been working on has been the Stratford Urban Forestry Corps. And the concept is that we will train individuals, students, to take care of our trees, our environment, and work together to give them a plot of land and say, this is yours. We need to build community, but we need to have community involvement. And this group would then report to the town council and the mayor's office quarterly.
Thank you, Dr. Chess. 1 minute response, Mayor Hoydick.
can always do better. And so we just need to work together to do better. The Raymark Advisory Council, or the CAD, the Community Advisory Group, meets every month and has advised EPA for decades about what should happen on the Raymark properties, because they live there and they're involved in it. And we have several groups like that in town. We just need to listen to them. So they're very happy. They're happy when they'll be very, very happy at the ribbon cutting of the ball field and the redevelopment proposals that are coming forward. But when you ask people what they think and they give you an answer, it's always pretty good if you listen to them.
Thank you, Mayor Hoydick. Mayor Hoydick, the next question is for you. First, 3 minutes. As you know, the Chamber BRBC members are having a difficult time finding the right talent with the right skills. How do you see the town's role in this discussion in aligning Stratford's education system, workforce programs, and local employers to ensure residents have the skills businesses need and that young people can find career opportunities here in Stratford?
So I know we have a lot of talent in Stratford. And it's hard work to keep that talent up and running. And many of our employers are Stratford residents or with Stratford legacies, and they've been involved with the Stratford school system. Our Economic Development Department updates local job listings on its website, and Stratford is very active, obviously, with the Bridgeport Regional Business Council. We've received a grant for $500,000 from the Office of Early Childhood for our child care apprenticeship program. And we have apprentices that are working in the industry while being paid and while being trained. And it's a great program. The apprentices are overseen by community services and are placed in child care locations throughout town. They established a Stratford pipeline supporting the workforce and businesses. We continue to intern opportunities within the town to establish experience for our youth and our reentry population. Stratford Recreation and Social Service agencies are some of the most fabulous training grounds we have for our young people. Thank you, Suzanne. The police department, Civil Air Patrol have cadet programs for our youth interested in joining and gaining hands-on experience in the areas of law or enforcement or paramilitary. We should continue to work, and we do work, with our labor unions, such as the building trades, the International Brotherhood of Electrical Workers, and the carpenters unions, to offer opportunities for those who would like to work, learn, and attain knowledge, to get a license in a trade, and to get a good paying job.
Thank you, Mayor Hoydick. 3 minutes, Dr. Chess.
There have been many efforts made, and progress has been made. I'm working in the school system, and I see it. But we can do a lot better. We can connect our unions much more tightly with our high schools. We can, when there's a new company coming to town, we need to meet with them, understand what their needs are, size them, and then work backwards with our schools to make sure that they understand these opportunities are there, to understand the jobs that will be available for them. It's an integrated process, but there needs to be a dedicated individual who does that. In our school system, it's a part-time of different individuals. We need dedicated help to get this so it's not an afterthought, but it's a forethought. It's what we do, because it's our children's future. So we need to size new companies coming in so we understand needs, and we need to have an active process of building that infrastructure. So that is a core piece. The other aspect of it is working with our colleges and working with our trade schools and making sure that there's as smooth a transition as possible between them and our high schools. This as a community, we have incredible resources. One of the things I have done was create Stratford Volunteer Corps, and we did it because our class sizes were getting really large. There are 27 kids in a class, and so in the back of the classes, kids get lost. So using our retired population sourced them, and we connected them to students in our schools. We started out with 20 volunteers. We have over 200 now. So it's figuring out how to use your community and use resources intelligently, not just throwing money at things. It's creating the strategies to bring people together.
Thank you, Dr. Chess. 1 minute response. Mayor Hoydick.
Thank you. So I totally agree that the best path to fulfilling your employment desires is to know what you want to do or to try it. But there's the opportunity for youth to volunteer in a field to see if they like it or not. When I was an AmeriCorps volunteer, there was a young woman who desperately wanted to volunteer at the hospital, so we got a replacement. And guess what? After 3 months, she said, I don't want to be a nurse. I think I want to be a teacher. That opportunity affected her life and changed her trajectory. And it was very affirming to me. Fast forward decades later, I had the opportunity to talk to the president of Sikorsky and who's looking for interns. And we were able to place some aeronautical engineers in college at these internships. So we can do it, the opportunities are there, we just have to be a little more collaborative, and we have to work together.
Thank you, Mayor Hoydick. 1 minute response, Dr. Chess.
The meeting with Sikorsky and finding that opportunity was a chance event. But these should be chance events. There should be an ongoing process of connecting with, speaking with our business community and understanding what their needs are. So they're being matched. And it's not one time, it's an ongoing process. And so system development is core. The other part of the system is when we get new people in our community, is understanding what their needs are. There is no welcoming committee in our town. There's no process in our town to know what the needs of people coming in are. And so with our schools in particular, where we need to have community involvement, where we need to have family involvement, we need to connect with every person in our community in a meaningful way so that we can provide the services that...
Thank you, Dr. Chess. Thank you. The next question goes to Dr. Chess, 3 minutes. Can you outline your vision for the town's development over the next decade? Are you in favor of tax breaks for businesses to improve facades on Barnum Avenue and Paradise Green? 3 minutes.
What we need in our town is a comprehensive development plan that maps out what we look like. To put a facade on and say we're going to support that doesn't make sense to me. It's not a meaningful question. It depends on what your return on investment is. And putting a facade on something without the detail, you have no idea. But we don't have a real map of what we want to look like. We don't have a map of what Barnum should look like. We don't have a map of what Honey Spot should look like. We don't have a map of what Paradise Green can look like. We need to have town planners, and we have a wonderful town planner, but we need to bring in national experts to help us imagine what these places could be. Because these are our economic drivers. This is what's going to define us. And I want you to be clear, that's not trying to change the nature of who we are as a small town. That's trying to create a path to make this small town run and make our revenues grow, make us feel proud of it. People in our town go to Milford and Shelton when they want to go to, or Fairfield, when they want to go to a good restaurant, when they want to go do things. My kids leave town all the time for activities. I'm sure you folks do as well. We need to be mapping out and designing our town in a proactive way, not in a reactive way. Not waiting for the developer to come in and say, we want to do this, and then getting all in an uproar. We need to be proactive and thoughtful
Thank you. Mayor Hoydick?
Our development future is very bright. We have opportunities at the our mansion plant, at the Raymark Ball Field, at the Morgan Francis property on East Broadway, contract plating on Lombrook Avenue, the former Center School property, and that's just a few locations. We're fortifying the water pollution control facility with a flood wall to protect the asset and assure operations during weather and storm events. That will also allow for expansion. We just received a SID grant for Broad Street Resiliency Project on Ferry Boulevard, and we have 2 stormwater pump stations approved to help with the flooding on Hamilton Avenue and the seawall. We have some new housing developments, including condos and apartments, and current and new residents are happy to call Stratford home.
Thank you, Mayor Hoydick. Dr. Chess, 1 minute response.
You know, being an observer of our town, it is always, we always say the right words, but what happens does not reflect those words. Everything takes forever. We've been redeveloping Shakespeare forever. We've been getting complete streets forever. We don't have a aggressive approach to development. We don't have an aggressive approach to caring for our community and our families. And that's what I want to bring to Stratford. Not this little small incremental pieces, but the bigger pieces. So I am endorsed by our firemen, by our firefighters, by our police officers, by Sikorsky. I'm endorsed by them because I'm out of time.
All right. We're going through the other stuff. Thank you. Mayor Hoydick?
Yes, thank you, Ron Bush, like to that's all.
You can go.
So the building trades, the carpet machine, IBEW. Anyway. We have a lot of opportunity. I said it before, I'll say it again, I'll stick to it. Yes, it takes some time. Yes, it's government. If it was a private developer, it would happen faster. Unfortunately for us, I wish the Shakespeare project could happen faster, but it's not. And part of the reason why it's not happening faster, and I'll try to do this in the short period of time that I have, is the EPA is redoing Shore Road, and they're going to use part of that project, or part of that property for a laydown area to store their equipment. So we can't develop that site as fast as we want, but we can develop the John Benjamin House into artist housing, artist studios, and public space, and performing arts space. So I'm very excited about that project. We worked a long time on it. We worked on it collaboratively. The neighborhood, we've had charrettes, we've had planning sessions, we've had 2 task force, and I think this is going to be pretty cool. Get that done, we'll have a band show, and then maybe someday we'll have a theater on the bus.
Excellent. Thank you. Next question. I'm trying to find out how many questions we have left before the end, and then we have one more.
I think.
Yeah, I just went to 12 on that.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. So, good segue. Mayor Hoydick gets the next question for 3 minutes. The Shakespeare Theater. In what way do you plan to support the local arts and culture? How would this help current businesses and foster growth of the business community? 3 minutes.
So I use the last part of the question to talk about this, what the vision is. And it's not my vision, it's our vision for this project. And arts, music, culture, history, all really, really important. Whether you attended any events at the Shakespeare Theater before it burned down, or you just like the open space there. It's a fabulous, fabulous piece of property. And we have such great art history in our town. So that, coupled with the historic preservation of this building, is all really important for that development. And it's right along the Ferry Boulevard corridor, which is a commercial area. So there are restaurants there, and there are boat storage and boating shops there. I could build the ski shops there too, back at the one leaves town. But there are opportunities, and there's also residents there. So this is a corridor that can work very well with an arts complex. And when you're having an artist come have showings and gallery space, and having people come and look at your art, you want that kind of vitality that this neighborhood is bringing.
Thank you, Mayor Hoydick. 3 minutes, Dr. Chess.
The Shakespeare property is near and dear to my heart. We watched the theater burn down, and we've been waiting for something at Shakespeare now for 30 years. The proposed development of the house is so much less than what we deserve. Our arts are critical to our community. Just a fact, for every dollar you invest in arts, a community typically sees $7 back. So on an economic basis, it's critically important that space, which was a destination, which people still say, are there anything going on there? People still think about our theater there. It is very disappointing, and that it was unguarded, that it was unprotected, and easily became an arson target is a shame. However, it is now an opportunity, and it's an opportunity for us to do a lot more. There are folks who want to invest in that space. There are investors who have presented to this administration with $30-40 million that they want to invest. We can have a Globe Theater, and Globe Theaters are small. They're about 250 seats. They're not these massive entities, but they are a big draw, and we'd be the only one in the Northeast. I'd love to see another smaller theater for indoor work, maybe 500 seats, and then have an event space where people can come and be married and have events and do it with the backdrop of the Housatonic. And all of this represents income for the town. And that's the direct income there. And I just want to be very, very clear. This is not about closing our park down to our community. Again, I live there. I walk my dogs there. I'm there all the time. We will keep it as a park, available just as it was before when the old Shakespeare Theater was there. So it stays open, but we now have a revenue source. And then what happens from there is that we have bed and breakfasts opening. We have business coming in. We have restaurants that are thriving and not worried about how they're staying open. That's how you build a community. That's how you build an economy.
Thank you, Dr. Chess. A 1-minute response. You're right.
I love the vision. And it's the same vision that Louis Burke had when he captivated the property and the house and the structure, and it never came to fruition. We've heard proposals. Of course, the balance sheet didn't make sense with the proposal because the money wasn't in place to affirm that this was a developer or it was a couple developers that could do this project. The community didn't want to lose control of that property. It's that simple. And so that's why the community decided to go down this path.
Thank you, Mayor Hoydick. 1-minute response, Dr. Chess.
The phrase "the community" is an interesting phrase, since most of the community are my neighbors, and we ferociously want to see something there. And so if you don't have, just like in our building department, et cetera, if you don't have a friendly face, if you don't have people who want to do it, who don't have a passion to do it, it's not going to get done. You're going to find 600 reasons not to do it. And that is really the core of why I'm running for mayor, because I have the mentality that we can do it. And we can be an outstanding, and we are an outstanding community, but a thriving community that families want to move to, that support our school systems, etc. This is just an example of the attitude that people get when they come to our town hall. We need to have an attitude that we can do it.
Thank you, Dr. Chess. We'd like to add our time. I promised you guys 90 minutes, so we're at the 90-minute mark almost. Mayor Hoydick, if you want to give your closing 2 minutes. 2 minutes.
Thank you. Again, thank you to the Stratford Chamber of Commerce and the Bridgeport Regional Business Council for hosting this forum. I think it's really important for the business community to weigh in and hear what the mayoral candidates have to say. I just want to reiterate a little bit too about me and how I've run the town for the last 8 years, and how some of the things that I can say about Stratford's future and how we are managing it responsibly, sustainably, proudly. I hope my legacy includes moving Stratford forward with a strong financial position, solid fund balance, and reduction of legacy pension funds. I strive for a stable environment where the government is consistent and predictable and isn't inflated with drama. I'm driven by experience. My vision is rooted in resiliency, looking at financials, community, and education. I've never engaged in negative campaigning, and I'm not going to start now. I tell my facts, my truth. You can decide for yourself if you believe it or not. But I'm always going to have conversations with you. And it's really important that we keep this community communicating and have very, very good, strong collaboration, because that's how we've gotten to where we are now. When I first ran for mayor in 2017, the residents made it clear that they wanted tax relief, they wanted transparency, and they wanted efficient town services. They also expressed that they didn't want local governments happenings taking over their daily lives. People were frustrated by ulterior agendas and unnecessary drama, and that distract from the real happenings in their lives and their real needs. They value clear communication, responsible governments, and trust.
Thank you, Mayor Hoydick. Thank you. Dr. Chess, 2 minutes.
Thank you, Bob. Thank you, Chamber of Commerce. Thank you, the people of Stratford. I want to be your mayor. I know I can do a great job for you. The thing I bring is openness, is transparency, is responding. In my government, there'll be an open door policy. We'll have people able to come in, sit down, and talk with me. Our town council will not be a town council where you go and you speak and there's no one that you're speaking to. We need to have transparency in all of our, I run businesses. There's something called key performance indicators. And that's measures of how you're doing. We have no measures. We have no idea. What are the standards for our parks department, for our mayor's office? We need to have key performance indicators that you can see on the website. When there's a project being developed, right, Central School was approved 3, 4, 5 years ago now. It's still empty. There is no transparency. We have no idea why. We need transparency. You need to have someone you can trust. That's just not going to obfuscate and everything. When you ask a question, it's with the attorneys. We have more attorneys in this town than Carter has pills. I'm telling you, everything is with the attorneys. So I got involved first with the firemen's union, with the firefighters union, because there were 2 firefighters who were injured on the job. And after 23 and 25 years, and they were offered a pension of $15,000.
Thank you, Dr. Chess. On behalf of the Stratford, first and foremost, let me just say thank you to everybody in this audience. You guys were well behaved. Come give yourselves a round. I'd like to thank the Chamber of Businesses, Stratford residents that came out. Let's give a big applause to Mayor Hoydick and Dr. Chass.